But the NBA season is almost back. We're going to have an NBA preview for you next week when we get into some regular season games, just because we've been talking so much about football. We're going to continue to do that this week with our 1 episode a week schedule. It's kind of been tough. Maybe we'll go to 2, talk 1 football, 1 basketball. We'll figure that out as we go down. But something that did happen in the NBA scheme that was really random and also pretty funny was Celtics Media Day happened. You know a little bit more about it than I do because, I mean, seriously, like the questions that come out of this are, what is Joe Mazzulla doing? And does this team have a chance to win games this year?
Yeah, I think this Celtics season has the potential to be full of what is Joe Mazzulla doing.
Yep.
I think that might be the storyline all year. He got off to a hot start. Apparently it's a tradition. I didn't know anything about this. Apparently it's a tradition for the Celtics media members to have a media versus media basketball game that they play every year in the Auerbach Center, the training facility for the Celtics. This year, Joe Mazzulla walked on the court while it was happening and was like, all right, no, we're not doing this year. We're doing Celtics media versus the coaching staff, which is pretty much all former players, if I'm not.
It's like 3 former NBA players and like 5 Division I guys versus a bunch of reporters.
So Joe Mazzulla
clearly never played organized basketball before.
He put a collection of NBA players against women who have never played basketball at a professional level on the court. And the coaching staff won 57-4.
I mean, I would hope so. Emile Jefferson played in the NBA like 3 years ago. You know,
they were throwing self lobs off the glass. There's if you go on the Celtics Instagram, which has 6.5 million followers, there's a video of the coaching staff diving for loose balls against women on the court. Joe, what are we doing? He must hate the media. I mean, if you are Joe Mazzulla, what is your angle here? Or is it so that every time you go into a press conference and a reporter asks a stupid question, you can be like, "Yeah, I watched you play.
We beat you 57-4, and
I
4
watched
points
your jumper.
Is too much. They
I
let up 4 points.
I agree.
I just think it's hilarious that you have a guy who won a national championship at Duke and served as a captain there for 3 years. And then played 5 years in the NBA and like 3 years overseas. Emile Jefferson, who's now an assistant coach on the Celtics, and you're throwing lobs to him over female reporters. Like, that's so funny.
Sam
also,
Cassell, Phil Pressey.
Yeah. Like, bro, they were...
Sham God is on the Celtics.
This is the most elite rec basketball team of all time that they put together.
Imagine walking into the Auerbach Center thinking that you're going to just go play your buddies and pick up and Sham God's on the court.
It's like Joe he didn't elaborate on it at all. He went, "Yeah, you guys aren't playing here today. You're playing the coaches." And then he left. And you could hear the guys in the background who like asked the questions about it being like, "Oh, Jesus." Like they knew immediately they had no chance in that.
I'm going to say this is probably the last time they ever do a media versus media game.
Yeah. I would have to assume so. I mean, I don't think the coaching staff is going to be, getting up for playing them again, but maybe Joe
Celtics media, it's your turn to respond.
Correct.
You got to put some players out there next time.
Yeah.
You got Scal. You got Eddie House.
Yep.
And that's pretty much all you got right now. You got to bolster it up a little bit.
Start hiring people. They could be like media correspondents, and they're just guys who just chill on the sideline. But you got to bolster this roster come next season. I agree. They're going to need a little bit more fire coming out of the Celtics training camp here. Why did Joe Mazzulla do that? We don't really know. That's kind of the way that he is with a lot of things. So we'll keep an eye on the Celtics as we go on. And as I said, we'll have a full NBA preview up for you guys next week, which I'm super excited about.
Me too. It's our first edition of Why Did Joe Do That? That's going to be a recurring segment throughout the year.
I'm sure it is.
Let's just touch on baseball real quick. Look, excuse me. I want to make one thing clear. Alex and I love baseball, especially postseason baseball. We don't talk about it a lot on the show because we're a once-a-week show, which means that baseball games happen pretty much every day. If we're doing it once a week, it's pretty hard to consistently keep you guys updated with what's going on. But we do love it.
And this playoffs
has been phenomenal throughout.
Awesome. It's been awesome.
It certainly has. So we're just going to touch on one thing real quick. Did you see the video of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the champagne celebration after the Yankees the Yankees lost to the Toronto Blue Jays last week?
I
That's
sure
worth
did.
touching
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, David Ortiz is a member of the Fox pre and post game studio show alongside Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter. That's the
Mhm,
crew.
mhm.
And every time the Yankees lose a baseball game, he makes a huge deal out of it and he goes, "The Yankees lose." And it's hilarious.
Awesome stuff.
So after the Blue Jays eliminated the Yankees in pretty convincing fashion, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was being interviewed from the locker room celebration. And I mean, just clearly obliterated,
Mhm.
was on the microphone and went, he went, "The Yankees lose." And it was hilarious. It left me with one thought, and that is, we ask a lot whether or not the game is gone, right?
Mhm.
Is the game gone? The Yankees next year, in Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s first at bat, they have to drill him, right? They have to drill him with a
Probably.
pitch.
They
I
probably
mean,
do.
and it's the right thing to do.
They probably do. My question is, how do we get Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on the Red Sox? But that's a completely different question for a later date. Um, Keep an eye on this Mariners Blue Jays series. It looked like the Mariners were going to run away with it after winning 2 games at the Blue Jays house, who have been incredible at home this year, just as it is. But they had a massive offensive performance last night. Like we said, we can't cover every single game going into game 4 tonight, I think. Look, there are 4 teams left. It's the Mariners, the Blue Jays, the Brewers, and the Dodgers. And the only team I don't want to see win the World Series is the Dodgers. So we'll see what happens going forward. We will try to be a little bit more up to date with that if we can. But please tune into some baseball. There have been some fantastic games. The Mariners game to close out their series was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I mean, 15 innings in a 2-1 game. That's
Yeah.
baseball. That's like, you have to really love the game in order to watch that.
Agreed.
All right, should we talk some NFL? It's time. Let's
do
get
it.
into it. Pats keep rolling. They beat the Saints this week. It was a pretty convincing win in my eyes, but the score
Yeah.
sheet doesn't necessarily reflect that.
Agreed.
Drake May continues. I mean, he had 3 passing touchdowns, 287 yards. He continues to look like a top 10 quarterback, Alex. I mean, if I know that, like, we made the reel last week, and people were like, I don't know, like, you guys are crazy. We had one guy in our YouTube comment section say, "You guys are clearly Pats fans." Yeah, no shit, that's the whole bit. It's not really a joke anymore. He actually
Yeah.
is a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, he's been playing like it. He's top 5 in passing yards. I think he's first in completion percentage right now, and the way that he's been playing has been very convincing. Yeah, I mean, I think the score sheet doesn't really show the full scope of this game. Some calls didn't go the Patriots' way that week, and evidently they got the job done though, right? And I think the biggest storyline from this weekend is probably the Buffalo Bills, who we'll touch on later on. But since the Patriots beat the Bills and are now on what, a 3-game win streak, 3 or 4-game win streak,
3-game heater.
3-game win streak, they are the top of the AFC division, which is not
AFC
really
East.
something.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not something that I think a lot of people had pegged. And do I think it's going to stay that way? Probably not.
Well,
But given the Patriots' schedule and who they play for the rest of the season, this Bills win at the Bills' house was a really big deal. If they can get them again, that would be phenomenal. But this Patriots team has looked like a playoff team for the first time in what we've said 6 years, right? They look like a team that has been, through the ringer and now is coming out the other side. And Drake May is making steps towards being probably the most impressive quarterback of his class this season. I still think I have Jaden Daniels over him if I had to pick straight up, just because of how Jaden Daniels performed last year. But in a quarterback class, it's been very impressive so far. We've mentioned it before. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Drake May, Michael Penix.
they all look like
Caleb
franchise
Williams.
guys.
They all
Yeah.
look like guys who could lead your team. JJ McCarthy, maybe, if he gets healthy, right? So, like, there are bright spots in this draft class, and Drake May is kind of shining the brightest out of all of them at the moment. He wasn't a guy that I was super high on coming out of the draft. I really wanted us to draft a skill player. That being said, I've loved what I've seen from him so far, and I'm excited to continue to see what Drake May brings to this football team, because it's really promising right now, and that's kind of all that you're looking for.
Yeah, no, agreed. The Patriots won that game. If they didn't, the NFL was going to hear hell about that ref and crew. I mean, Stephon Diggs had 2 pass interference calls that were like the 2 pass interference calls were like a net 110 yards and a touchdown that they got called back. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not typically one to hate on referees. They do their job and they make bad calls, and that's part of a human crew. I agree with that.
Mhm.
When the entire like referee announcing crew and both the commentators are like, yeah, that was ridiculous, then you can start to have the conversation about like what really happened. And that
Yeah.
happened both times. So, I mean, they did have to figure that out. But Patriots continue to look phenomenal.
Agreed.
Moving on, Alex, we have our first notable Nickelodeon MVP of the year.
MVP award.
And
MVP.
some people are saying MVPs value more than MVPs. I don't know who those people are.
I don't
People are
either.
saying it, though.
I mean, you're
Cam
joining
Scatterboom won this
conversation with
week.
the likes of Mitch Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky and Rams Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, 2 really random players.
It's Rams Baker Mayfield, Hall of Random Jerseys.
Look, Cam Scatterboom may be the most beloved player in the NFL right now. I don't know if that's going to continue or what the story is there, but people seem to love this crayon-eating guy. He just continually makes plays. He puts his head down. He takes hits. This is what he does.
Don't get me wrong. I hate the Giants just as much as the next Patriots fan, but even I can admit you can like this team. You really can.
Yeah, I agree.
They're frisky. They're the definition of frisky.
I like Jackson Dart. He may be the first Mormon quarterback I like watching play football. I mean, there are only like 3 of them all time, but it's him or Zach Wilson in my lifetime. So I like watching Jackson Dart play football, though. I liked him at Ole Miss. I did not think that he was going to perform as well as he has thus far. That being said, the New York Giants fan base loves these 2. They love them, and they needed something like this. You saw it the way that they treated Russell Wilson when he went in the game when Jackson Dart went to the tent. Like, they are begging for something to be excited about in New York. And it seems like Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboom are going to lead them that way.
You know who loves these 2 guys? Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll loves these